Here we go. For another rock and roll overtime every time. Marching dance workout, dragon marching, dance workout, dragon marching. Dance workout yours already is in about 2 hours in my march already. Marching towards the mountain, my second home, Mount Royal, the Belvedere Conjure and Acte. We are here on West Mount already, on one of the peaks of the the mountain system, which has 3 peaks. Mount Royal has 3 peaks. The mountain system, West Mount, Ultramar, and Mount Royal proper. And gotta begin as always with gratitude. Gonna put those gloves because temperature is dropping a little bit. By midnight it's supposed to be -11 when I left. Around 6 it was 5 or 6 minus in the minus. Grateful, thankful, my rent's paid my electricity bill, got food and coffee, and gotta watch it because there's still many streets which have not been fully, snow removal operations have not been yet 100%. And today, from what I understand, today or tomorrow there's like a 2-day break, and they're gonna resume over the weekend, maybe tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday. But we had a record-breaking snowfall, double storm, 2 days, accumulated over 70 centimeters, and it hasn't been like this since 1941, so more than 70 years, actually more than 80 years. So rock and roll Friday before the Sabbath, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise. And working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. Got that red backpack on. Got the red backpack on. Got the red backpack on. It's not that heavy. Got those red gloves. Thank you to my anonymous friend who donated yours truly. Red, my favorite color, like my hoodie. Gloves back in 2018 after I started challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match when Donald Trump decided to impose tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel of 10%. And here we are with a new threat on the horizon for March to commence 25% on all, this time on all ALL, all goods. Canadian goods. This Quebecer, Canadian North American who was born in the USA 3 times post 7076, and once a woman, twice a man. You get that 50-50 now. And of course served in the USA Armed Forces, same US Army, 2 different wars, 156 years apart, calling all willingly loving to pledge your allegiance to our family, friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family, friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family, friends with benefits only. Aspie, artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical, understand, theorist, and mystic. Financially struggling, but grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bill is paid, got food and coffee, and I got about 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. I guess I made it just in time for the crossing of the street, the road here in Westmount. So gotta be always on the lookout for the cars, because you know the brakes sometimes malfunction. The electricity, of course. So we gotta be saluting the Hydro-Quebec workers of the past, and this big civilization is a privilege, so we always gotta get it on the go, and how we do. So now that we are here in Westmount, gotta check out the beautiful tree there, and always grateful, thankful, you know, although financially stressed, I'm joyous, and encouraging all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice, and will and continue to call for the mass financing thereof. And today, February 21st, Friday, Sabbath commences at midnight past 1 second. So right when Saturday begins until Sunday, about 44 hours and 55 minutes. So almost 45 hours, almost 45 hours. The duration of the Sabbath of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. That is yours truly's laying the foundations for the first kingdom, the Democratic Republic. North Americans unite with kisses. Trillions of kisses credited from the forgotten goddess. Kisses I got by the trillions. And look at all this snow here. And gotta be celebrating 5 years. Now this February until March 2025. In 2020 I had COVID. Between February 7th and March 24th, you know, I was really sick at one point for a couple of days. I thought that was it. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. He was like death, pestilence, and disease. He was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know when they say that, how I felt like it was death, pestilence, and disease. It sounds like a hardcore death trash metal, rock and roll. You know, rock, the rock and roll, not the trash metal type of rock and roll, more hardcore. You know, it's like World War III type of mode, and I've been in that mode since October 2019. But of course, I'm marking 5 years since I survived COVID. Nothing that I will to go back, living for today, carpe diem, with hope for tomorrow. And gotta salute the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks. See how it goes down, down, down. So now I can even go more up. Here it goes up and here it goes down, because now I'm on the mountain. Really here, the Montreal, Hawk Island, Montreal. I'm on the mountain system. Three-peak mountain right at the center, but right exactly between the center, between the east and the west, but it's slightly south between the north. So it's not exactly centered, exactly in the midpoint between the north and the south, but between the east and the west, it really is in the center, quite at the midpoint, exactly 50-50, you know, quite something. In Montreal, Hawk Island geography, check it out yourself. Second most populated city in Canada, 7th or 8th in the North American Collectif, you know, Canada, US joint, and Mexico. Mexico City, I believe, is the most populated now. Gotta double check, and then you got New York, LA, but Montreal is in the top 10 most populated metropolitan cities. It's a metropolis, right? It's like a small country of 2.5 million people, a big island, huge island surrounded by a huge river. So it's a big island. It's not a, it's not a small island, you know. So it's here in Montreal or Quebec or Canadian, encouraging all workout, train, exercise. I gotta send some LOVE to the firefighters. Some love to the firefighters, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the electricians, the plumbers, the grocery store clerks, all involved in the distribution and the production of food. And I see that right there's a lot of work to be done, and now it seems to be on a pause today because they were working overtime every time. And yesterday, all these dedication on my march dedicated for my anonymous friend, my allies and armies, pledge your allegiance to our family, and to all the snow removal operators who get those shovels, the brains and the muscle to remove the snow. I gotta be meditating, gotta be thinking about them, and gotta be always sending some LOVE, you know. So that's what it is for that. And here you can see we got a record breaker, but it was 2 storms, because the storm were 3 days apart, right? So both snowstorms were 3 days apart. So I got a snowstorm last week, then 3 days later, 2 days ago, we got hit by another. 3 days ago, we got hit by another. So 3 days apart, but accumulated, we got more than, we broke the record from 1941. So you can see you got huge mountains here and there, huge mountains of snow, and there's lots of snow everywhere. You can get a plenty, you know. Come get some if you want. You can start export business, send it to Florida, give us some oranges for snow. Give us some oranges for snow. Give us some oranges for snow, and tariffs are not in yet. So somebody who has been calling for the North American Union in the Democratic Republic and my PPP centrism best, public-private partnership initiatives best, you know, sometimes we gotta make a deal, make a compromise, and myself financially stressed, but I've been able and will continue to challenge Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border, and I got those red gloves in the back, which were credited by my anonymous friend, and I worked out a lot. You can see hundreds of videos of my workout training program system, and of course when I put the gloves, and they're a bit worn out because I hit hard with them, so you know, but you can buy them, auctioning them for $1 million for the pair of gloves. Gonna give 50% half to my anonymous friend. And here for the feet, I wear 3 pairs of socks. Gonna auction those pairs of socks. Gonna auction my underwear. Gonna auction my garments, everything that I'm wearing. Here we got a little bit of a kind of like a fortress type of situation, but here we go. We got that drill from the back, from the left, from the right, from the center, and that's what we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing with that. So it's already past that. So something which you gotta have a little bit of fun with in the snow, I guess. Like we did yesterday, we traversed that. Check the video, and we traversed all the way deep in the snow. That was quite something, and I felt a bit on the sore side. So still sore today. Already put in more marching steps than all the generals of NATO combined today for the week. And for the month of February, already marched more than all ALL, all the generals of NATO combined during COVID as well. And of course, already marched more than the generals of Canada for sure today. I'm not sure if they're combined, but General yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, calling for the Dragon Army for years, which is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership. You know, myself, having a neurodivergent, living with Asperger's, HFA, has been a more tough road for me to, with certain things. I'm mediocre average in social settings and social understandings. Where Asperger's, people who are neurodivergent, it can be more difficult, to understand social cues and certain social dynamics, and we can have our struggles, myself included, but when it comes to our special interests, also known as obsessive interests, but you prefer to use the terminology special interest, where we Asperger's are super focused, super intense, super in it, especially when it comes to my special interests, or Aspies have different special interests because we're also individuals, part of a collective, tiny minority though. Right, it's only less than half percentile, less than 1%, less than half of a percent. It's about 0.44 of a percent. So not even half of a percentage, not even 1% of the population has Asperger's. So it's really a tiny minority, less than 1 out of 300 if you do the calculation. Right, less than 1 out of 300, less than 1 out of 300. So that makes people with Asperger's like myself super intense, super focused, super dedicated, super concentrated when we are involved in those areas which are our special interest, also known as obsessive interest. But you do not use the terminology obsessive, because obsessive will be the functionality that is something more detrimental and negative, while of course special interests have to be nurtured, understood, and have to be directed and channeled, right? And people with Asperger's have to be supported in those areas. Myself being, of course, geopolitical, theoretical, analyst, and theorist, independent. Sometimes I spend hours and hours and hours a day just revising geopolitical theory. This morning, I spent from the morning until the afternoon. I realized that was about more than 5 hours. Just concentrated, had a cup of coffee, had a little bit something to eat, and then said I'd watch news channels from different parts of the world to analyze left, right, and center, and from a Quebecer perspective, North American centric perspective, because fundamentally I'm a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, challenging Donald Trump since 2018. Still do on the Canadian-US border. Let's put the gloves on and let's build together the North American People's Imperial Coliseum. Let's build together the North American People's Imperial Coliseum. Let's build together the North American Imperial Coliseum and the Forgotten Goddess Temple, because I created my surviving COVID, being depressed, being suicidal, and having lived with trauma and survived being surprise attacked a few years ago. Had some injuries, lots of scars, lots of retrograde amnesia, lots of memory, and of course I created my survival to the goddess. To the goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S. When you say God bless, I always gotta say God kisses with that, It's not all about fight. You gotta have some L-O-V-E. Some of that good loving with it, Butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, truckers, electricians, those flipping some hamburgers, some cheeseburgers. Somebody got to rock and roll for them as well. Those picking up the recycling, the garbage, the compost, garbage collectors, We got to get it on the drill with them. We got to give it on the drill with them. And we need to implement my Trinity of theories. The DRT, debt refusion theory, the CIT, citizen integration theory, and the democratic fusion theory. That trinity of theories has to be implemented, and we have to implement that theory, so it's something which we got to be implemented here, and we got to be doing the implementation thereof, because we have reached a critical point. It's an emergency tough. I predicted, what's happening now in a general manner back in November 2019. I got proof of work, because I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst, or analyst and theorist, who has predicted what's happening now across the world back in 2019. And here I gotta turn my head left or right, because you never know, the brakes can malfunction, the brakes can malfunction. So here we go down, see, it goes down, slide. So that's what we gotta be doing with that. So see, we're here at the top of the mountain, so we gotta get it on the do. So that's what we gotta get doing on that, and we gotta be being circumspect here that all this civilization is a privilege as well, to have electricity, myself included, in this phone. When I charge recharged it, and at home, and all this electricity which we have comes from Hydro-Quebec. So gotta build more dams. And back to what I was saying, that back in 2019 I predicted, of course, an international conflagration of World War III. So I've been in a kind of World War III mode ever since that time, because that's what I predicted, an international conflagration. And of course I created back then and a workout training program system consequently to go with such a scenario, which is a workout training program system which is simple but has a complexity behind it. It's a simplicity to do it, it's efficient, effective, and simplicity with a complex dynamics and theories behind it. But of course I perform more than 372 of my own creative workout training program system, which is officially titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, aka the 300 workout. And you can check hundreds of my workout videos, Facebook, YouTube. And as a philosopher, androgynous pansexual philosopher, artist, athlete, geopolitical theoretical honest and theorist, and mystic, believer knowing of reincarnation, sometimes was born a man or woman, here in Quebec, here on the island a few times. And right here is this 21st of February 2025 special Dragon vs. Trump edition, special celebrating 5 years. I'm going to be celebrating until March, 5 years of having survived COVID. See how it goes down steep. Here we're on the mountain peak, Westmount Peak at a 3-peaked mountain system, Mount Royal proper, my second home, heading towards there all the way. Yours truly cannot stress enough the importance of regular physical exercise. I already feel good. Sometimes I still get moody and financially stressed and wish I could afford a massage therapy session, but you know what, that's what it is with that, and that's what it is with that. So they'll be doing on the go, and I'll be doing on the gratitude is great for mental health. And I live a simple, austere, severe 21st century rainbow Spartan dragon lifestyle, although I love my wafers, and you know, I am financially stressed, and it's not always all about me. I always be meditating about the truckers. How about some truckers now across the North American Collective? Please, strippers, if a trucker stops, give them half a discount. I know you need to make some money. Dancing, twerking is a dance. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity. And yes, stripping is a form of dance, more erotic, and nothing against it. I stopped more than 3.5 years ago watching pornography myself, I stopped watching pornography myself. Celebrating, marking down more than 3.5 years now since last time I watched a porn movie. But I don't oppose it morally, because whatever it is, this moderation, value of harm for self, other, the individual, and the collective, those are things, of course, which is always a dialogue, a compromise, and you get back down and get back up. But back to what I was saying, please, if you truckers stop, give them a discount, a little bit of a dragon style, big rainbow dragon hugs, discount them a little bit, 50%, or give them a free lap dance to the truckers, truckers, LOV, firefighters, butchers, bakers, even to the strippers. Somebody gotta love them also, the strippers, eh? Somebody gotta defend, you're gonna put on a uniform to defend, you gotta fight for freedom. Freedom is a new thing, Freedom is a new thing. Freedom is a new thing under the sun of Solomon, and freedom has to be ensured, My public-private partnerships are fundamentally for the North American Collective, civilizational complex. Truth be told, that we do not need the border. We don't need the border. We need to do a common census, a North American, Canada, U.S. joint census to see everybody who's been living here in the past 7+ years. 7+ years, and 7+ years ago, 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast, and that event made me come out of being depressed, being suicidal, and I was depressed, I was suicidal, I was depressed, suicidal, crossed Canada coast to coast. August 2017, went in BC, British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, and then in September went to Halifax, Nova Scotia, went to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and That event made me come out of being depressed and suicidal. I've established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. So I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians back then in that 2017. And our family, Quebecers, my family, Canadians, my family, and my family a little bit on the south. You know, we got here True North, Strong and Free, Canada. Got Canada tatted up. I got a tattoo of a maple leaf and the word Canada, Canada, Canada with the maple leaf. So I don't remember how I got it. It must have been decades ago. I'm not sure because I got some loss of memory. You know, I remember moving from a moldy place. I always say if I would have stayed there, I would have died or ended up, who knows, died in jail or menace. Who knows what? Can only speculate, but nonetheless, it's been a journey, tough, suffered, struggled, and I've been done with depression. I survived COVID, and sometimes I still get moody, still get a little bit of craving. I do get lustful, you know. If you're a man, woman, you know, you got a black or white, men or women, you know, I play that rainbow dragon, I am pansexual. I'm only looking for friends with benefits, but I'm gonna card you like you're like in a club. In a club, you gotta be 18 plus for this one, you know. Depending on which state. Speaking of states, I don't know about that 51st state. We don't need the border. It's best to focus for security. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. The ports and the airports, the ports and the airports, the ports and the airports best. The ports and the airports best. The ports and the airports best. The ports, or the ports, the points of entry, are the ports in the North American Collective, in the North American Civilizational Complex. Canada-US joint ports and airports, based on my total mobile defense theory or total mobile defense theory system, the TMDS or the TMDTS. It's 4 acronyms or 5 depending on the interjection and the use in certain contexts. They're kind of the same, but one has an application that's air, sea, and water, and the other one has a more total mobile, which includes the pedestrian or marching pedestrian. The other ones pretty much includes the transport, public transport, and the highways, and the train and the planes. I'm not going to discuss it into much because it's a matter of, it's my defense theory for the collective North American civilizational complex, because my ideas theories are fundamentally for the defense security service, and the protocols I cannot discuss it over much because they can be a bit intellectual, academic, and it's a matter of national security also, so I cannot divulge too much of my total mobile defense theory system, which I've created over the past 7 years, and especially during the COVID era. So just that aside, whatever the case may be for that, I cannot discuss it overly in detail because it's a national security and security point. So that's that with that. Dragon versus Trump have been challenging since 2018 when Donald Trump imposed 10% tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. 10% tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. 10% tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel back then. Since, of course, I've been challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match. For now, the threat looming of 25% on all tariffs. Again, my dream, the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, is for the North American Union, a public-private partnership fundamentally, and that's what we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing with that. And that's what we gotta get on the go to do, you know. So it's something which we gotta get it on the left and on the right, and sometimes in the centrist manner, which is best for the times where we live now, you know. Where I live my centrism best and public-private partnership best, and the North American civilizational complex is best, of course, to put the proposition that we need coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean defense, security and service, you know. So that's how we gotta be doing sometimes, and I feel good. So the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally a public-private partnership, and across the North American Civilizational Collective, across the North America, and across this great complex, This is a new world here. We're a new emergent civilizational complex here in North America, and we need to focus. We don't need the border. It's counter. It's best do not invest in the border security, but to make a census. Again, a census, a common passport, a census, a common passport, common defense security force, because we both got that 911, eh? 911 is for both Canada and the United States, and I've written so I started writing about 7 years ago because I did several work with CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, a few years back on some national security matters, and of course I have the protocols, the North American integrated protocols, the new 911 citizen integrated protocols for security, service, and defense, and all my initiatives, theories, the Trinity of theories, the CIT, citizen integration theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and the democratic fusion theory are fundamentally to be implemented via a fourth dimension love across North America, and solely and for the purpose of defense, security, service, and of course rebirth, renewal, defense, security, service, and rebirth, renewal, defense, security, service, and rebirth, renewal, and fundamentally it's a public-private partnership, and we really need to get starting digging those 44 tunnels across North America after 43, before 45 is 44 tunnels. We need to build them, inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, the NORAD headquarters, and about Montreal Underground Village. So we need to construct 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war. Stack them with cans of food, and make sure we got quarters for survival and water and all that. We need to mass invest in that. So that's why I believe my DRT theory, that refusion theory, now where we are, is of a must importance in this month of February 2025. Now it's the 21st. Myself marking 5 years, celebrating with this march, and a little bit of I got some food at home, so on the budget I made some of that. A little bit of got a soda, so and celebrate with us. Still have a little bit leftover wine, Canadian wine. And here on the Ramsey, get my anonymous friend a house. Beyonce, please. Oprah, Lady Gaga. I love that abracadabra, by the way. Should have done some choreography, blah blah blah. Dancing is my favorite sport, and of course Celine Dion, and you know. Katy Perry, do choreography, please, for my anonymous friend who deserves to be 7 times richer than Oprah and Salim. Financially stressed but grateful, thankful. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food, got coffee. Thinking about the firefighters, the butchers, the bakers, those now flipping some hamburgers, cheeseburgers across North America. Donald Trump, you should have signed an executive order to. Still got time, do it tonight, midnight, do it tomorrow. Monday, first thing, raise the minimum wage and sign an executive order to rebuild the North American Collective, the inner urban cities, aka the ghettos, to rebuild the ghettos. Please sign an executive order to rebuild the ghettos, the North American inner cities. If I would have been a 44 billion, if I would have had 44 billion, right when Trump got elected, I would have taken 10%, 4.4 billion, I would have went there, hoodie on in Canada, and distributed 50,000 to men, women, black, white, vets, and I would have whispered in their ear, this is your second chance, this is my redemption, this is your second chance, this is my redemption. Put the good use to the money, and somebody, when living in the street homeless with that 50,000, I guess he would have been able to turn back the life around. But what I would have done with the money, that would have been a choice, you know, because it's also a choice. So, and then if I would have seen again, a week, a month, a year later, the same person again, homeless, not even maybe even said anything, you know. I said, well, because I got my own second chances, third chances. I survived COVID. That's why I will to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple. The Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple. GODDSS. I credited my surviving COVID to the goddess. See, usually we go by that side. We enter by that side, but now we're gonna go a little bit on the different side. See, this is the mountain, my second home, Mount Royal. I kind of like this building architecturally. It needs a little bit of color. I like the bright colors a little bit, but That's what it is with that. So to go a little bit around about it, we're gonna do a little bit of different, because usually we go by that stairs. So usually we go that way, right? We go in it like that, So, sometimes it's good to change a bit, change the direction, same destination, different direction, different routes through the mountain. My second home here. I love this mountain. See the big concrete. It's rock there. It's hard rock. So that's what we gotta get doing. And we're gonna go around about a bit on the different side, and then we're gonna come out by this side later on. But now I just wanna do a little bit of a switch, I guess, a little bit of a changing, I guess, sometimes, because we could go by that way, but I just wanna go a little bit just round about it, just round about it, because now I'm heading north. So usually we take the other route on the other side. So now we're surrounding the other peak of the mountain, basically, because here we are on the mountain, but that was Westmount, and now Mount Royal proper kind of begins. So we're still going up, but you can see how there it goes down, right? So they're coming up on the mountain, and it goes down and down and down and down, because the mountain system is huge. It's a big mountain with 3 peaks, right? It has 3 peaks, and you can see it afar off, hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of miles, even outside, of course, Montreal. Even outside of Montreal, you can see it, You can see it even outside of Montreal. So that's how we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing, and that's how we gotta get on the doing now, So it's something which, of course, we gotta meditate that civilization is a privilege, and we gotta turn our heads left and right here, and left and right, and that's how we gotta get doing, So it's always for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, and the grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and the distribution of food, all those involved in the production, distribution of food, and all those, of course, who are now involved in flipping some burgers, flipping some cheeseburgers, some hamburgers, some of that ham, some of that bacon, some of that beef. Somebody got to sing for them some of that good rock and roll. They're athletes. Those who pick up the garbage, the compost. Public workers of the North American Collectives. Public workers of the North American Collective. Public workers of the North American Collective. That's what we got to get doing with that. And that's what we got to be saluting also. It takes a public-private partnership. It's not all about the rich. It's not all about the money. All about the money. So that's what we got to get doing with that. And that's what we got to be acknowledging those things which are part of us, which are part of us. Because it takes a public-private partnership, Sometimes we have our own inner demons, which we might have. So we made it so far here, I'm back to my prediction, of course, of what's happening now across the world. I predicted an international conflagration, and predicted it based on a main factor, main common denominator, and gotta salute those ambulance workers. I predicted that due to the fact that many nation states, civilizations, that they were not able to resolve their conflicts from the 20th century fully. So that's what's happening today. It's conflicts which from the 20th century have resurfaced. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Middle East, Israel, Hamas, Israel, Palestine, however you want to term it, the same kind of prototype applies in the context, So that's what it is. So that's what we got to be doing with that. So that's what we got to get doing on the go. So there's something which we got to be mindful of. So here we got to go with that thing in mind. And here in North America, we made the great linguistic compromise with the French language, Quebec, and my brothers and sisters, blacks, black men, black women, they're 13.3, 13.4%, 13.3, 13.4, 13.3, 13.4% of the population are blacks, my neighbors included. So continue, I put on the table all half for everybody else. Kisses first and foremost. Some hugs. Money I don't have. Financially myself I'm struggling, but I wouldn't be hesitant in not doing charity to my brothers and sisters who are blacks. Black men, black women. If I would have got those 44 billion when Trump got elected, and I would have taken 10%, 10% would have been 4.4 billion. I would have distributed regardless to black, white, whatever, homeless vets, 50,000, I would have done a lot of that. Let's go, billionaires. Do some good charity. Go incognito. Artists, multi-millionaire artists, put a hoodie on, get dirty for some, put some god dirt on it and go incognito. Across North America, Canada, US. Give some money, take a million, whatever. If you have a few million, you can take a million. Tough economic times, economic, financial, commercial times, you could do that. You could do that. And of course, we gotta do a great reconciliation, Here in Canada, they're through north, strong and free. But freedom and strength is not enough, right? You gotta have some LOVE with that. Just like we are north of the USA. And let's fuse 100%. 100%. But we gotta have some executive orders to tax, of course, also the millionaires, billionaires 10%, and put a cap on interest on loans, the interest on loans, and credit cards at 10%, because we reached record levels of public debt. Solutions. My dream, the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, is fundamentally for the 21st century for security, service, and defense, and some joy. Sabbaths, mass urban parties. I ought to be seeing from Friday till Sunday, with reverse, of course, because we gotta have defense, so we gotta have security. But every other week, bi-weekly, I want to see my either youth or dancing and holding parties and recreation, rejuvenation. Work and play and work and play. It could be both, we can. We got the technological means, we got the availability. It's a dream, but it's also grounded on reality. My philosophies, initiatives, which are pro-labor and love, universal revolutionary centrist, but my universal revolutionary centrist is tied in hand in hand and is North American centric. It's North American centric because here we constitute a new emergent civilizational collective, which we gotta get it on the go with that. And here we got, of course, the U.S. Army, we gotta get the U.S. Army with that. So that's what we gotta get doing with that. So it's something which we gotta be saluting the armed forces here, Canadian armed forces. That needs a little bit of color. Here the barracks. I got at home a reference paper from a while ago, 2 decades ago. I wanted to go to Kingston Military College. So I got a good reference papers, but I graduated high school, I just don't remember. I lost the memory. Maybe it was the mold where I used to live down there somewhere in Côte des Neiges, Citoyen, Montreal, and very moldy underground, literally underground. It was a basement. There was lots of mold, and I left there kind of sick and depressed and suicidal. And I just remember starting working out, moving, and I remember mostly very good the past 7, 8, 9 years. But before that, it's like a blackout, like that hardball ball. Hey, look at the truckers. They're gonna get some of that snow removal operations. Let's go. So anyways, sometimes it's possible that you regain retrograde amnesia memory, but sometimes just don't. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, what I do know is that I predicted what's happening now. In 2019, I got proof of work online, and I predicted what's happening now in 2019, and that's what it is in 2019 with that. And here I am, joyous, financially stressed, and open for business. Pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only. Thanks for understanding. Changing my name, officially yet to do so because it requires some capital and money, but my heart is, and in the sky, in the heavens, there'll be Adrian Hanna Dragon, androgynous pansexual, founder of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, first and foremost, with trillions of kisses. Keep my holy, sacred, and divine name out of your mouth. If it's not for a blessing, let it be pestilence. Keep my holy, sacred name out of your mouth. If it's not for a blessing, let it be pestilence. Keep my holy, sacred, and divine name out of your mouth. If it's not, let it be pestilence. Thanks for understanding. Lots of loving. butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all those involved in the production and the distribution of food across we need to unite, build on the Canadian-US border, the North American people's Imperial Coliseum, and the first sport event, first inauguration, let it be Dragon versus Trump, and Dragon versus Trump, the first inauguration, and of course let it be Dragon versus Trump, and of course let it be also the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, and the forgotten goddess, or the goddess temple, the temple of the goddess of a million, a trillion, a billion names, because one of the holiest names. And you know, the GODDSS, I created my surviving COVID to the goddess. The goddess. See, that's the other peak, Mountain West. That's Westmount. See, but this is the mountain, as you can see this from here. But we are already on the mountain already. So as you can see, that's Mountain Peak. Is seen roundabout, Mount Royal and Montreal, roundabout Montreal, and hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of miles afar off. So let's build together. I will to build the pyramid. Scarlet, crimson and scarlet are shades of red. My favorite color, RED. Construction workers, LOVE. I credit construction workers who are going to construct, help build, support, build these buildings. The four of them. The Forgotten Goddess Temple, or the Temple of the Goddess of a Million Billion Names, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the House of the Dragon, the Pyramid, Scarlet Red, and the Rainbow People's Palace. Credit trains of kisses, feet washings, massages, you know. I'm gonna give a salutation, LOV, to the public workers of the past, present, and future, because it takes a public-private partnership, and we're gonna need to rebuild the aqueducts, the sewers, rebuild the aqueducts to the sewers, and I'm gonna need to discuss my theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and we made a great linguistic compromise, so I gotta put a little bit for that French. Thank you, that fellow citizen worker who brains a muscle operator of that machine. I wonder where that machine was built, constructed. Other technical matters, but nonetheless, see, this makes that I'm able to take on these steps more prudently, safely, and has done a good job. And it's a lot of jobs to do, and see, he's a public worker, so paid by the city, and we need to get my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, implemented in order to have the North American Collective insured, secured, and gonna discuss it. Just want to say again my gratitude and grateful, thankful. My rent's paid and electricity bill is paid, and got food and coffee, and they got to do lots of work here. And I gotta pass by them on the side, and there we go. Oh yeah, right in the snow roundabout, and I guess it's clear all the way, so I appreciate it. The workers to clear the road, the path, and he's still gonna do it. And it gets a little bit on the narrow, but got a record snow, man, record snowfall. Yeah, we dance in the snow, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. North Americans unite, true north, strong and free, with the home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave, the land of the free, home of the brave, and the land of the free, in the home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave. You can't be enough with that. Bravery and freedom. As somebody who was born in the USA 3 times, post 76 is not enough, you know, for our civilizational dynamics. Just like the true north, strong and free, strength and freedom. You got bravery and freedom, we can mix it, but we gotta put some of that LOVE with that, you know, some loving. Because as much as I understand, peace through strength, as I understand, but I do not fully support it. 50-50. Also peace through love also. Peace through love also. Peace through love also. Love and strength, left to right and center, can go together. Reconciliation, healing. I understand frustrations, dynamics. I've been depressed, been suicidal, been lonely, closed doors, misunderstandings. With my neurological mental divergent condition, I always gotta build bridges with the neurotypical world, and being part of this minority who's can be more weird and awkward in social dynamics. But thanks to it, I have the DRT, which I'm not going to discuss. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, comes, I guess, from this kind of curse of having had Asperger's, meaning that I have a special interest, my holy trinity, geopolitics, study and analysis of geopolitics, 24/7, geopolitical analysis and theorizing, and geopolitics, theoretical analysis, geopolitics, and of course sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity, and rock and roll. So being that is my favorite sport, dancing, and favorite fitness activity, dancing, and that's what it is with that, and that's what we gotta get doing on the go. So something which we gotta be mindful of, the debt refusion theory is the only solution, or something very similar which resembles my DRT theory. The debt refusion theory is the only solution. The D, debt R refusion T theory, includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is, of course, the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. See there, you can skate, you can slide, you can skate, you can slide, you can skate, or you can slide. But we're just gonna go around like this time, right? Just a little bit of a more different side, because usually we go by that side, but there's many sides to go to. The Belvedere, Kondianak, the Belvedere, the Chalet, the Belvedere, Kondianak, my second home, not just mine, yours, ours, but it's not just mine, right? So, because it's public, but this is like my second home. And see, there, I don't know if there's anybody, because I got to check my optometrist with a vision in March. I got an appointment, so although I can see better from afar at night rather than during the day. Kind of a paradox. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, includes monetary integration theory. And why do I make the statement that my DRT theory is the only solution, or something very similar to my DRT theory is the solution? Due to the fact that we paid in 2024 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. That's 46,000 million. A billion has 9 zeros. A billion has 9 zeros. A billion has 9 zeros. So that is the amount of interest which we paid on the public debt. So that is a huge amount, right? And in 2020, 2021, the number was 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion double would have been 40.6, right? It more than doubled. Just debt servicing, paying the interest only on the public debt, has more than doubled in 3 years. From 2020, 2021 to 2023, 2024, the fiscal years. Yeah, sure, of course, due to COVID, programs had to be implemented to salvage the population in distress, in the health crisis, and of course for the economic crisis which went in parallel with the health crisis. There have been programs, and much due to that increase of just the interest though. Debt servicing, it means the interest paid on the public debt has more than doubled in 3 years. You realize that it's a catastrophe emergency, since the GDP, the economy of Canada, has not doubled, right? Because if it would have doubled the economy as well, then it would have been more okay. But then it only increased 2%, even went in the negative in November. So it takes decades for GDPs, national economies, to double. There's decades, you know. I think if we check, it was probably more than 44 years since the GDP of Canada doubled. Probably more than 44 years since 1978 or 1980 since the GDP of Canada doubled, right? If we are to make that considerations. Sometimes it takes generations for a GDP, gross domestic product, or the national economic input, however we want to quantify financial, economic, commercial terms, but it means kind of the same, just doubling the economy, in other words. But the interest payments, only the interest has doubled. So interject that just like an individual X, individual Y, individual Z, let's say. Me, I don't have credit cards. I have a credit line to the RBC. Credit line to the RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada. I have a credit line to the RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada. $10,000, I pay about 11% in interest. So if a citizen X, citizen Y would have paid, let's say, in 2020, 2021, citizen X would have paid $156. in interest, only in interest on the credit card or credit cards combined. Let's say Citizen X or you or me or somebody else. And then 3 years later, it goes from 156 because it increases in spending on debt, from $156 paying interest to 333. That's more than double, right? From 156 to 333. From 156, 156 to 333, 333. It's more than double. But if the person Citizen X salary does not double, then the Citizen X, he, she, they, whatever, has to cut the spending, has to cut the budget, has to reduce the spending, because he's going to pay more in interest, while the salaries in the past, since 2020 to 2025, the average salary increase has been 4.4%. The average salary increase has been 4.4%. The average salary increase has been 4.4%. 4.4%. The average salary increase has been 4.4%. 4.4%. So how many salaries you know that doubled? How many salaries you know that doubled? How many salaries you know that doubled? Very few. That's why it's the problem. You understand? Particularly since only the interest has doubled on the public debt. Is the same as principal mathematical financial principia. The same mathematical financial principle with the interest payments applies as with a citizen. Because if a citizen's payments double in interest, then a citizen has to reduce the spending. Even if it increases, even if he, she, they, Citizen X's salary increases by 5, 10, 11%, 15%, let's say, but the interest payments double, then it has to reduce the spending. You're going to have to cut, he, she, they, Citizen X is going to have to cut buying cheese, cut the Netflix, cut Disney, reduce the internet, if it's whatever, reduce, maybe get a different program for the phone, smartphone, reduce something. Don't buy wine, don't go out to the movies, don't go out to the restaurants. So that's just how it is. So what are we going to cut in the public services? Because the interest on the public debt more than doubled. It's an emergency. You realize what we're going to cut? The police, security service, RCMP, garbage collectors, sanitation workers, recycling, prisons, public health care. You understand? So it's an emergency. It's possible that Monday we wake up to a Canadian public financial collapse. What's called in financial a black swan event. You realize, right? Just the numbers. I understand emotions, feelings, they matter as 2 plus 3 equals 4 matter, but we can write 2 plus 2 with all the colors of the rainbow and the black and white. We can put black and white and all the colors of the rainbow in that same equation. So it takes mathematics, logics, and science, but also the feelings, the emotions, right? Like I say, I don't know about that 51st state. I'm not a Trump supporter. Not at all. Made very few things. But to fuse Canada and the US, because my brothers and sisters, the king is absent. The king is not going to come fight for us if there's an invasion from China or Russia, right? If there's an invasion from China or Russia, because they solidified their military alliance, and China just built construction. I don't know if they finalized it, or they just started, but gotta double check on the news. There's been some reports. A military complex 11 times, close to 11 times or 11 times bigger than the Pentagon. So you beg the question, why is the mass investment in the past years in COVID by China in the military? And also they announced some nuclear development, and they increased their warheads production, nuclear warheads production. In the past 2.5 years, China has increased by estimated 20 to 25% their warheads, nuclear warheads. So during COVID, they're built an additional they had about 400 or so, 450. So they increased by 20 or 25% to 500 more. That's what we know exactly, something like that. So it's it's interesting, isn't it? So as a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who studies geopolitics, As much as I have been advocating for world peace, that's one thing that we can know that it could be a possibility of an invasion of Taiwan. So maybe I'll go home. Taiwan is known as the Republic of China, which is of course a conflict which they now resolved. From the 20th century, they have not fully resolved. They have not fully resolved. So that being stated with that, that's it what it is. So back to my DRT theory. That's what I know. That my DRT theory is the solution. Or something very similar to my DRT theory. My debt refusion theory. Something very similar to my debt refusion theory. And there's no other way. You can argue all you want, but the numbers, due to the fact that we pay so much interest, the interest has more than double. You realize that? Just the interest payment. So exactly, there has to be a reduction. It is not sustainable. Is possibility, worst case scenario, a possibility of a black swan event starting Monday, end of the month. It's February 25th. Monday. Today's the 21st today, so Friday, tomorrow's 22nd, Saturday, 23rd, 24th is going to be Monday, right? 24th is going to be Monday. Correction. 24th when Russia invaded Ukraine. But again, I'm not on the ground. I'm a North American. So many things I don't know. I know that I predicted an international conflagration. I know my DRT theory. That refusion theory now explained. Keep in mind that my DRT theory contains in it monetary integration theory. So monetary integration theory is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. The Europeans, they destroyed the Germans. They destroyed the Germans, their central banks. The Italians, also the French. In the 90s, they destroyed their national central banks. They don't have national central banks like we do in Canada and the US anymore. In the European Union, they have a common, the ECB, a common multinational central banks that serves many nation states, the ECB, European Central Bank, and they destroyed, they annulled also the old currency, and they have a common currency, the euro. So my DRT, debt refusion theory, contains in it monetary integration theory, which is exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So that is important to keep in mind, that integrated in my debt refusion theory is integrated monetary integration theory. So here it is explained. We're going to take all the public and the private debt, including my $10,000 to the RBC, all the debt of Canadians, public and private debt, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're going to go all the way, take it coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're going to take all the debt, public and private debt. That's what we're going to get doing with that. And so we're going to get doing with that. So that's what we're going to get doing, So we're going to get doing on that and going to get doing on the XYZ. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt So all of it, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the public and the private debt. So my debt, your debt, our debt. We're going to take it all, and that's what it is. We're going to take all the debt, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the public and the private debt, all of it, we're going to take it coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're going to take it all. My 10,000 added and converted to the United States dollar, because the United States dollar says the currency of choice for world trade, international business, global world affairs. So Canadian public private debt coast to coast, preferably the DRT theory, my debt refusion theory, to be implemented simultaneously Canada, US. Just like the establishment of the NHL, which is now really national, is binational. The PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League. Thank you. And of course, the NBA, and get rid of border, do a census, do a common passport, and a common defense security force, and rebuild infrastructure. So all the debt, public and private, converted to the US dollar, added with the US, and all the money in circulation, all that money is going to be the initial money supply. The initial money supply. Which is going to be the money for a new currency, for a new central bank, the North American Central Bank. And we're going to create a new currency just like the European Union did. We're going to call it the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit, the UE. All that money, we're going to be able to rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, build those 44 tunnels, 44 tunnels, in case of a thermonuclear war that is inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex and the Montreal Underground Village. We're going to be able to implement my Operation Northern Scorpio, implement Operation Northern Scorpio based on my total mobile defense theory or total mobile defense theory system, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, North America, the dream. And of course, we're going to be mass financing, building the interceptors and satellites for being able to intercept ICBMs, which in theory they can travel, They can reach us from Russia, China, North Korea. They can reach North America, even Montreal, from Russia, from Moscow. The YARS 24 can travel 10,500 kilometers. You can't. So we're going to build the Hawk, North American Hawk. But us in the north, and you in the south. So in a way, it's a fusion between the north and the south, right? Because us two north, strong and free, my brothers and sisters in the south. So like President Trump said, he said something about we're gonna keep the 51st state as the flag and the anthem, and I'm gonna make a new anthem. I'm gonna make a third joint fused. The free and the brave and the strong and the loving. The free and the brave and the strong and the loving. The free and the brave and the strong and the loving. But not to oppress others, of course, but show compassion by action also, that's what it is. So that's how we gotta get doing with that. So that's how we gotta get on the mobilize, and things we just gotta do, we just gotta do, so it's something which I gotta be doing that. So it's something which we gotta be seeing. We gotta be seeing and we gotta be doing, it's something which we gotta be on the doers, on the doers and on the now, so we gotta get it on the do, so we gotta get it on the do with that, so that's how we gotta get it on the do, that's how we gotta get there, do it on the XYZ, so it is with that, so we gotta go to the DRD, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the DRT debt refusion theory, for the creation of the universal exchange unit. Pledge your allegiance to our family. 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 This is the headquarters. We need to put the flag there. We got the Canadian, need to put the US and the dragon flag and the Dancing Goddess Army flag, and that's what I gotta get doing with that. So consent and hygiene, hug like you never heard before is the main message. With consent and hygiene, hug like you never heard before is the message. With consent and hygiene, hug like you never heard before is the message. And that's what it is with that. That's what it is. So here's the headquarters, Chalet Belvedere, Conjurnac. My second home, the Chalet Belvedere, headquarters of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Pledge your allegiance to our family. And here we are on the Montreal, and that's how we gotta get doing. See the lights. Thank you, Hydro-Quebec. Imagine all the work, Hydro-Quebec. Gonna give some salutations to the butchers, the bakers, the firefighters, the truckers, DRT, debt refusion too. We're gonna be able to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. Mass finance citizens to work out. Mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. Mass finance fitness. Mass finance the building of 44. And here we are at the top. Butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, Montreal, Hawk Island. HWK. There you go. Hawk Island, Montreal. That's my favorite skyscraper there with the pyramid. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE coast to coast. See how you can see the river. See, this is Hawk Island, aka Montreal, my second home. This is my second home here, Montreal, Belvedere. Also the headquarters of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Need to paint some rainbow red here at top of Mount Royal. Butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, and all involved in the production, distribution of food. All those lovers now make with consent and hygiene some good loving dance like you never danced today with consent and hygiene. hygiene. Don't start hugging people randomly in the streets. Hug like you never hugged before. Somebody with consent, HUG. Hug like you never hugged before. Hug for me, double trouble. In my name, also hug, kiss. Share a little bit, do some push-ups, get that redemption. Let's get that North American Criminal Rehabilitation Act, Dragon Army, Dancing Goddess Army. That's my favorite skyscraper. There you see the pyramid. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's red, and that's my favorite skyscraper there, the pyramid. So here atop the Mount Royal, my second home, you can see the pyramid, and yours truly, Agent Hannah, Dragon Stairs, Dragon Zero, bury me with Papa Crowley up in New Jersey. 1/3 of me, 1/3 of me, 1/3 of me at the back there. At the back, where the House of the Dragon. Let's build a pyramid. 1/3 of me there. At the city of the pyramids, 1/3 in Cairo, Egypt, where the pyramids are, where I roamed in the past life, previous incarnation. And down there, down south in the United States, Hampton, New Jersey with Papa Crowley. And farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, all those crossing the roads now, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, get rid of the border. North American fusion, Canada, US, north-south, the north-south, horse set. Lords to lords, from this Canadian coast to coast, ocean to ocean, census, do a census, and coast to coast, ocean to ocean, for security service, Dragon Army, pledge your allegiance to our family. 24/7 rock and roll for the butchers, the farmers, the doctors, the electricians, the plumbers. Help build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum. Let's build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Millions of people, Quebecers, Canadians, 40 million plus. We made the great linguistic compromise, which we're going to continue to do so. Encouraging all, do some push-ups, do some exercise, do some working out, do some hugging, do some LOV, and that's what it is for that. And that's what we get here at the top of the mountain. You can see the mountain. You can see from afar up. That's hundreds of, sometimes it's tens and more than 44 kilometers, right, to get to a certain destination. From here to my place, it's about 13.3, or I can go like a snake and then more than 22 kilometers. But if I go in a straight line, it's 13.3, 13.4 kilometers roundabout, maybe by here. So anyways, that's it with that. For the farmers, the butchers, the grocery store clerks, pledge your allegiance with the DRT, also the CIT. So there's an integration to you, and let's go rock and roll. Butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, farmers, and yours truly, Agent Hannah, Dragon Ling, the foundations here, top Mount Royal, for the dancing goddess of the Dragon Kingdom, and for yours truly, pledge your allegiance, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We gotta get it for those who build the pyramids, and we're gonna build more pyramids here. Of course, yours truly, which is of course the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, and we gotta get doing for the 50 states plus here Canada join as one. The Union for the 21st century, the Democratic Republic being a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centers, the Democratic Republican Adrian Hannah Dragon androgynous pansexuals with trillions of kisses. I laid the foundations, ready to rock and roll back to my headquarters now. So now we're gonna get back to my headquarters here. Now we made it to the top, and it's a beautiful place, and not usually it's full of people in the spring, summer, and autumn, but now I guess the meteorological conditions. But for me, I come when it's stormy, when it's cold, when it's snowstorm or no storm, and I still come here to my second home, the Mountain Belvedere Conjure and Act, which is my second home, and that's what we're gonna get doing with that. And we're gonna have to give it a little bit of switch to that French, because we in La Belle Province, and the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the farmers, the electricians, the plumbers, all those involved in the production and distribution of food. And I gotta give them some of that LOV with them and see if the stairs were cleared. And we're gonna take it down the stairs, I guess we can. If we are, sometimes we don't go by here, but now I kind of feel like going, if there's possibility to go down the stairs and then just go down the side, because last time we go around the bus, sometimes by the cross, but sometimes you're able to go by this side. If you're able to, I'm gonna make an assessment. It seems like the stairs are clear, but I guess I gotta be prudent. Yeah, seems like it's okay, but I'm just gonna be prudent with it and just gonna go down. I guess thank you to those who did the removal of the snow, and we're gonna do a little bit different here. See, we're gonna go down by the side of headquarters, and there's many ways you can go, around the bodies. It's not just one way. You can go multiple ways, and here's a more just more stairs here. Stairs, not staring as an Asperger's characteristic, as not symptoms, it's not a mental illness, but oh, good job. Public workers, see? Wow, they removed the snow here from the stairs. I guess they figured that it's a popular destination place, which is for me and I guess for many others, but is something which I am grateful for the work done, because I'm going to take the stairs more slowly. And anybody want to finance, I go up and down these stairs with rock and roll, for Dragon vs. Trump special edition, and encouraging all to work out, train, exercise. And see, now you can see how we go down from the mountain to top the Belvedere, and we keep on going down, and it's nice. It's a nice job here they did. I find it anyways. It looks like it was cleared. Wow, cleared. It must have been full of snow. Way better than I was expecting. It's just I still gotta hold on a little bit to the side here of the stairs. We got it's kind of like a fence, like a big thick fence, more like a big thick fence, and just gotta go slowly, because it's still some danger, but overall it looks very good. And the stairs are just gonna have to bend a little bit and make sure I go proper on the stairs, because it's still some danger of sliding, slipping, but we're gonna go on the slow side, no rush. And Sabbath begins at midnight. I would love to start Sabbaths here right at midnight, and for dancing. The Sabbaths of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, for recreation, rejuvenation. That's the dream. Create a universal exchange in it via the DRT, debt refusion theory, which I just discussed. We have to be implementing it. The DRT, debt refusion theory, brothers and sisters, is something which we must and we gotta do ASAP. So it's urgent. It's a pressing matter, which that we're gonna do a lot of good. And the DRT, debt refusion theory, create the UE and lay the foundations for the Dancing Goddess Army, DGA, North American Integrated Dance League, and the Dragon Army. For security, service, and defense, and rebirth and joy only. For security, service, and defense, and rebirth and joy only. For security, service, and joy, and rebirth only. That's the only purpose for the DGA. Environmental also, Dancing Goddess Army, North American, the Great Dancing, and the Dancing Goddess Army with the Dancing Goddess Army. And of course the North American People's Imperial Coliseum to build it. To build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, or the Goddess Temple of Many Names. That's what yours truly wills to build and construct as I go down these stairs. See, I'm going down now from the mountain, and I gotta say that whoever did the job here, thank you, big rainbow dragon hugs, some feet washing, some big kisses, like to offer more than blah blah blah, like to offer more than blah blah blah, like to offer more than blah blah blah, because it takes brains and muscle, brains and muscle to do all this. It takes machines, brains and muscle, has been to build civilization is a privilege, Civilization is a privilege. Civilization is a privilege, so that's what it is with that, and that's what we gotta get doing. So it's something which we gotta be doing now. And see all these stairs, and like I said, bear me with Papa Crowley up in New Jersey, and how about some of that French? I guess when we're gonna go down, and now I'm gonna go a little bit into trance before French. I'm gonna go a little bit of a rock and roll trance. Ready or not? I go in that rock and roll trance. What do you got? I got kisses. I got hugs. I got lots of loving. Lots of lust. The black and white and rainbow. Kisses. Here's some push-ups. Gotta see it to believe it. I go down, you see it from the mountain. That's the beast. Beast, you see the hawks, and beast, you see the crows. Kissing on the rose, kissing on the rose. Rose on the road, rose on the road. You know that rock and roll. For the butchers and the electricians and the plumbers, I gotta swing it. Swing it by those hips, so you know up into this. Dismissed, swing it by those hips, so you know up into this, swing it by those hips, so you know up into this, swing it by those hips, so you know up into this, for the left or right, for the black and white and the rainbow. You know that I sing it, that's let's go. I say do, I say me and you. That's the pledge to allegiance. That's the allegiance at the table of all demons. And the chosen, that's the semen. At the table of all demons, that's the chosen, that's the semen. At the table of all demons, that's the semen. I done dance the angel kisses for the demons. How to kiss a swingy. I got a rainbow booty if you wanna kiss it. For world peace, let me know. For world peace, let me show. For world peace, let me roll. Rock and roll in the truckers, butchers, making us some of those firefighters. With some loving, that's the art. With some loving, that's another spark. For you know the plug, that's the rock and roll, you know we go. That's the rock and roll, you know we show. That's the rock and roll, you know we show. And the melody, that's it for sure. It ain't that cold, it's into some snow. True north, strong and free, you know that I gotta see. For somebody gotta meet that jogging, somebody gotta meet that jogging. That gotta salute and congratulations for the jogger. For the jogger on this temperature. For the jogger on this temperatures. For those who make some exercise, those who make some exercise. Those who make some exercise. Gotta give it for our likes, for the likes, for the dice. I don't throw and I don't gamble. Gotta kisses. Gotta love up in the swing. Gotta love up in the swing dish. Gotta love up in the swing dicks. Swing lips and swing hips and swing clits and swing kiss. For another flavor dismissed, General Rainbow Clip, play that cuckold, that's the pleaser. For another, that's a sneezer. For the lips up in the business, for the lips up in the Caesar. For another rock and roll, you know we bees. Bees over the bees at, there's the honey, I don't see but the snow. You know up and down we rode her. You don't up and down we rode her, you know up and down we rode her. Riding. I say stop hiding. Show me some of that hips up in the dance, up in the tripper. Dancing goddess DJ swinger, dancing goddess swinger. For the dragon rock and roller, so you know how hips and goes. So you know how hips and toulder. So you know I keep on shoulder, so you know I keep on broader. So you know we left and righter, so you know we kiss and hider. Yeah, I told you. That's my special interest as well, rock and roll 24/7. Got Asperger's, but I'm good at rock and roll. The best. In this century, in this 2025, I'm the best creator of rock and roll songs, rhythm, vocal, not guitar, stuff like that. No, there's people way better than me at that, but when it comes to freestyle channel, I just channel songs, you know? I just channel songs, rock and roll, rap as well. Y'all want some rap? Y'all want some rap? Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. I rap for my homos. I play Avenge that sevenfold. Hope y'all gonna get that story stoled. I got plenty of scars. I don't think you ever figure out fist fights. Truckers and the butchers and the bearmen gotta rap for the motherfuckers. For the butchers, for the bakers, for the doctors, for the truckers. Somebody gotta rap for them, motherfucker. It ain't all about Wall Street. Let's go, those who changing them with those sheets. And you know they picking up the garbage collectors. They be that city sanitation, get out dirty, get back cleaner. So what if I like both pussy and that dick? So what if I write pussy and that dick? Y'all also got secrets of my demons, know them all. My demon brother proposer. They know your secrets. My demon knows all your secrets as well, motherfucker. Back to rock and roll. Rock and roll on the road. Plenty of snow. And here we are. At another sight. Light. At another sight. Sing it out of sight. Swing it. With those hips I see. With those hips and melodies. You know, gotta go up. Gotta go down. From the mountain, that's the sound. Gotta give it a little bit of kiss. So you know we up to this. Gotta kiss and a hug. Gotta kiss and the love. Gotta kiss and the love. Gotta kiss and the shove. See it to believe it. For the frown up in the be it. For the frown up in the see it. For the frown up in the leave it. And you know we gotta swing it. And you know we gotta be it. I go up and down the mountain, see it. Please it. That you know up in the freeze it. That you know up in the sing it. Swing it for the snow up in the rain. You go feel, see the game. And you know I chose the lane. fall before the fame. And you know I squeeze on the lover's hug, hug, H-U-G, hug, H-U-G. Double trouble, there's that hugging and that kissing. All across the 50 states, Canada, you know. And the Quebec, all the way to Alberta, I got British Columbia. I gotta go by Nova Scotia. Gotta be down the prairie, that's Saskatchewan. Gotta sing it by the Manitoba. Whoa! Ontario, here we go, none. Hey, you know that we got it. 10 provinces, that's the 3. And for the 50 states, let me go a little bit down south, roundabout, all the way New York, Vermont. Gotta swing it all the way to Florida, all the way North Dakota, South Carolina, North Carolina, swinging all the way to Georgia, all the way down Alabama, all the way down Alabama. And you know that's hey, California, swinging to the left or right. We're gonna go for New Mexico, up and down all the way, up and down we go. 40 Arkansas, you know that Kansas, with a city that's the play, you know that's the say, and you know we going not New Jersey's way, Ohio, that's the way, Ohio, that's the way. If I'm gonna recite that 50 states, gotta play for the hockey, that's the puck, don't drop, save it. That's, you know, I play the dancer, play that gridiron, that's the football, play the hut and hit and dribble. That's, you know, I've been the fumble, hey, but you know I done. Gotta love it. Gotta love it for the lovers. Gotta sing it, swing it. Let me see that hips and toes move up in the go with the hips and the lips and the freeze and the eyes and the please. Hips and the stars and tickles and the tickles and the tickles. Tickles and gotta swing this, swing it with who? With some, with a hot, with some, with a liquor, with some, with a mug. Pour it up, and drinking, pour it up, and a swinger. Let's shake the head left or right just like this. We gotta go for the romance, we gotta go for the lips, we gotta go for the hips. Love up into this. We're going up, that's the freezer, going up and down the sweet, and you know it's just rock and roll up into this. Gotta put those toes up, going up and down the swing, Montreal, all the way. Gotta go it for the toes, gotta go it for the goal. Up and down so that you know, up and down so that you know. Gotta swing it, that's the froze. Gotta swing it, that's the rose. Gotta swing it, that's the road. That's the road. Montreal gotta be safe and not prudent, that's the show. For you know, swing it up and down, swing it up and louder, swing it up and down, low. That's the pyramid, you know we froze. And you know we told her. Say it out a little bit louder. Hey, rock and roll, you know we show. Rock and roll, you know we brothers and sisters. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Let's our hands up in this ocean. But with them, with some music, with some lotions, with some music, with some lotion, with the potion, massages and the kisses. I don't want none but the loving. I don't want none tonight but the loving. That's the Sabbath, let it spark it, let it started. So you know where you started, that's the construction workers of the skyscrapers that build it. Skyscraper construction, that build it. I ain't know we enough French, so I got a battle for Vincent for that French kiss. Because we put it for the French kiss, Wow, we're French and the kiss a demon. That's the demon in my... I saw that's the rainbow dragon kiss it. Et voilà, on vient d'être en haut de la montagne. Québécois et Québécoises, en vous encourageant à faire de l'exercice. L'exercice a été selon ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Et je vous encourage à faire de l'exercice. Donc, en vous encourageant, en faisant l'exercice, je viens moi-même de me diriger maintenant vers chez nous parce que ça fait déjà plus que 3h30. Je pense que je suis sur la route. Puis je viens de descendre du Mont-Royal, ma deuxième maison, à Belvédère-Condirnac. J'ai pris un chemin un peu quand même, que ça a été un petit chemin un peu différent que d'habitude, mais c'est sûr que des fois, le changement, ça fait des routes, on change de route un peu, mais j'ai quand même une routine quand même assez sévère, une routine, là, quand même rituelle, mais tant qu'autiste totalement fonctionnel avec Asperger, je vais avec une certaine routine, mais des fois, c'est la même destination, puis j'adore vraiment, c'est comme ma deuxième maison, j'adore vraiment y aller jusqu'en haut, tu sais, du Mont-Royal, du Belvédère Candironac, c'est quelque chose, bien sûr, que j'adore moi-même, tu sais. Fait qu'en adorant, bien sûr, c'est quelque chose que je dois encourager les autres avec prudence, par exemple, parce que on vient d'avoir le déneigement ici a été pas pire, mais là, ils se reposent après que j'ai entendu aux nouvelles, fait que c'est 2 jours de repos, là, parce que ça a été quand même un record, là, qu'on a brisé depuis 1941, la dernière fois. Puis c'était un double tempête de neige. Cette double tempête de neige, ça a été 3 jours d'écart, mais ça a quand même laissé bien des places que c'est quand même, ça n'a pas été déneigé, fait que je pense qu'on est rendu au tiers, le tiers, je pense qu'ils ont dit, un tiers, fait que ça va durer quand même encore une semaine, peut-être plus, pour déneiger tout ça, qu'on a eu plus de 70 cm d'accumulation en 2 jours, là, c'est quand même un record, fait que, avec la gratitude, je dois commencer avec la gratitude. J'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, j'ai du café, j'ai du thé, puis le sac à dos dans l'arrière, le sac à dos, il y a des gants de boxe. Les gants de boxe rouges qui ont été donnés par mon ami anonyme. Si je fais 1 million, je donne la moitié. Puis depuis 2018, bien sûr, je fais appel à Donald Trump. À Donald Trump de me combattre dans un combat de boxe. Je fais appel à Donald Trump de me combattre dans un combat de boxe. Depuis qu'il a imposé des tarifs de 10% sur l'aluminium puis l'acier, en 2018, c'est 10%. Puis maintenant, bien sûr, c'est possible qu'on a un 25% sur tous les biens ce fois-ci, parce qu'en 2018, c'était seulement sur l'aluminium puis l'acier, tu sais. Fait qu'il faut qu'on évite ça de toute manière. Il faut qu'on fasse de tout possible une entente, un deal, un compromis. Puis, bien sûr, je ne suis pas un partisan de Trump, pas du tout. Je ne soutiens pas Trump. Je fais appel qu'ils me combattent depuis 2018 sur la frontière du Canada puis des États-Unis, sur la frontière du Canada et des États-Unis, sur la frontière canado-états-unienne depuis 2018. Depuis 2018. Puis je veux qu'on construise ensemble, qu'on bâtit ensemble le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial sur la frontière canado-états-unienne. Fait que les travailleurs en construction, ben, je vais vous mettre des bisous, des chatouilles, puis des câlins, puis des massages avec ça sur la table, parce que des fois, tu sais, c'est plus que des paroles, ça en prend des actions aussi, hein, du cerveau puis des muscles, pour la construction de ce le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial. Puis le premier événement, ça va être Dragon contre Trump. Fait que construisons ensemble. Puis il faut qu'on fasse un recensement entre Canada et États-Unis ensemble. On n'a pas besoin de la frontière. C'est mieux qu'on se concentre sur les ports et les aéroports. Les aéroports puis les ports ensemble. Parce que c'est ça les points de sécurité d'entrant dans le collectif nord-américain. Puis il faut qu'on fasse un recensement pour voir tous les gens qui sont ici depuis 2017 ou depuis 2020. Puis je marque aujourd'hui, je dois dire que je célèbre la victoire, que j'ai eu la COVID en 2020 au début, entre le 7 février puis le 24 mars. Entre le 7 février 2020 puis le 24 mars. Entre le 7 février puis le 24 mars, j'ai eu la COVID. Je me sentais comme la maladie. C'était comme la pestilence, la mort, puis la maladie. C'était comme la pestilence, la maladie, la mort. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, puis la maladie. Je sais quand je dis ça, mais c'est comme si c'était une chanson de rock and roll, tu sais, un peu thrash metal, là, c'est comme ça sonne, comme un album. Le titre d'un album de thrash metal, du hardcore rock and roll, là, du rock and roll plus hardcore. Mais c'est comme ça que je me suis ressenti. Puis je dis souvent, tu sais, je suis mort dans ma grotte de dragon arc-en-ciel où j'habite à Notre-Dame-de-Grâce en 2018. Oh, correction, en 2020. Puis je suis en train de renaître. Je veux rien retourner en arrière. Mais moi, j'étais vraiment malade quand je l'ai eu. Puis c'était vraiment ça, quelque chose que j'ai ressenti en tant que c'était fort. Là. Je me suis fait travailler fort. Fait que je célèbre ça. Tous les jours, je célèbre. Là, je suis en train de renaître. Puis je pensais que j'allais mourir. Vraiment, je me sentais comme... C'était comme... Wow! Je pensais vraiment que j'allais mourir. Je pensais c'est je meurs là. C'est ça, c'était ça mon histoire. C'est mon dernier chapitre, là. dans ma grotte de dragon. Fait que je pensais que c'était ça. Puis après ça, je me suis fait vacciner. Bien sûr, je me suis fait vacciner 3 fois, bien sûr. Puis en me faisant vacciner, puis j'ai eu 3 vaccins. Puis j'aimerais ça qu'on garde les protocoles hygiéniques en public quand même. Parce qu'il y a des bactéries, des microbes puis des germes. Fait que c'est super important. Ces microbes, ces germes, ces bactéries, c'est super important qu'on les nettoie. C'est pour ça que je porte mon désinfectant toujours avec moi, parce qu'on ne sait jamais. Hein. Puis moi, vous savez que j'ai prédit la situation actuelle en 2019. En 2019, vous savez que je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique. Puis bien sûr, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle d'une manière générale. Je n'ai pas prévu chaque événement avec chaque événement, mais d'une manière générale, j'avais prévu qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale. Puis là, avec la révision de la CIA des États-Unis, de services de sécurité puis d'intelligence secrète, tu sais, c'est quand même qui ont dit que là, c'est de plus en plus probable que la COVID, ça a été fait dans un laboratoire par l'être humain à Wuhan, en Chine. Fait que moi, je dis toujours, j'ai ma trinité de théories sur qu'est-ce que c'est la COVID. Je sais que je l'ai eu parce que c'était même juste avant qu'ils commencent à annoncer la COVID, puis qu'ils ferment l'économie, puis ils disent des heures de rester à la maison, puis tout ça, là. C'était au tout début, je l'ai eu, entre 7 février 2020 puis 24 mars. Mais comme à un moment donné, j'étais vraiment malade. Je pense entre le 17 février puis le 1er mars, là, c'était vraiment malade. Je pensais que j'allais mourir. C'est là que je dis, ah ben là, c'est mon dernier chapitre. Puis j'ai survécu. Je sais pas comment j'ai survécu, mais j'ai survécu. C'était au tout début, quand ça a commencé, la première vague, là, au tout début, là, tu sais, ou vraiment au début que je l'ai eu moi-même, tu sais, quand ça a commencé. Fait que je pensais que c'était ça pour moi-même, tu sais. Fait que j'ai survécu, en tout cas. Puis là, ma trinité de théorie sur la COVID, l'origine de la COVID, c'est premièrement, je pense que c'est les serpents. Ça a été transmis par des serpents. Je pense que c'était la transmission, ça s'est fait par des serpents, mais je peux pas le dire à 100%, fait qu'il y a un doute. Mais qu'est-ce que je sais sûr? Fait que je peux pas. La première chose, je pense que c'est. Moi, je pense que ça a été transmis par les serpents. Deuxièmement, je peux pas dire parce que j'ai un doute. Puis troisièmement, je peux pas nier une autre explication, une autre origine, une autre théorie de l'origine, comme un laboratoire. Fait que ça, c'est ma trinité de théorie, mais j'ai une quatrième dimension à cette trinité de théorie sur la COVID. La quatrième dimension, c'est qu'est-ce que je sais certainement, 100%, sans aucun doute. Fait que sans doute, là. Qu'avant la COVID, en 2019, en octobre et en novembre, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle de la géopolitique mondiale, qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale, qu'il y aura une 3e guerre mondiale. C'est que ça que j'ai prévu moi-même en 2019, en octobre et en novembre. Ça, je le sais à 100%, puis j'ai la preuve en ligne. J'ai documenté la création de mon entraînement physique pour y aller justement avec une situation de guerre mondiale, pour voir la mobilisation d'une population, pour la mobilisation d'une population, pour la mobilisation d'une population dans cet esprit état d'urgence, si vous voulez. État d'urgence. Puis, et c'est comme je dis toujours, moi, en tant que philosophe, artiste, athlète, puis analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, puis mystique, qui vit avec cette condition de neurodivergence, de l'Asperger, ça fait que j'ai des intérêts spéciaux qu'on appelle aussi des intérêts obsessifs. Mais je n'appelle pas ça des intérêts obsessifs, car donner cette terminologie, c'est plus négatif, c'est-à-dire obsession. C'est pas vraiment des obsessions, c'est des intérêts spéciaux, puis les Asperger, on est super concentrés, super intense, super dedans quand on fait les choses dont on a ces intérêts spéciaux. Puis moi, je peux passer des heures par jour à faire des analyses de la géopolitique. Je regarde des chaînes de télé du Québec, du Canada, en anglais, en français, des États-Unis, de la gauche, de la droite, tout ça, du Mexique, premièrement de l'Amérique du Nord, puis après ça, même dans le monde, pour faire des analyses, pour voir qu'est-ce que les diplomates disent, pour faire des analyses de leurs paroles, de leur politique, de leurs initiatives, etc. Fait que je peux passer, je passe vraiment des heures par jour à faire ça. Mais des fois, je me demande, je dis, wow, des fois, je suis concentré 4 heures, je fais des analyses, des théories, des révisions, puis j'analyse, puis je fais d'autres théories, d'autres analyses, puis je me rends compte, je dis, wow, je viens de passer des heures, puis des heures à faire ça, tu sais. Parce que je suis tellement dedans, tellement concentré. Fait que c'est comme une obsession, mais parce que j'ai cette condition de neurodivergence, l'Asperger, c'est pas une obsession dans le sens comme quelqu'un qui est neurotypique. vis-à-vis à moi-même, qui est neurodivergent, donc faisant partie de cette minorité quand même, une petite minorité quand même, c'est seulement moins d'1%, moins de la moitié d'1%, c'est 0,44%, fait que c'est vraiment une minorité. Je fais partie de cette minorité de gens qui ont l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, l'Asperger, c'est 0,44% de la population mondiale qui ont l'Asperger, donc c'est dans cette condition de neurodivergence. Fait qu'on peut être très bon dans ses intérêts spéciaux. Puis au point de vue que j'ai prévu la situation actuelle, pour vous faire un résumé, pourquoi j'avais prévu ça, c'est des analyses plus en détail complexes, mais pour faire un résumé, pour un dénominateur commun ou majeur, point majeur, c'est que bien sûr, j'ai conclu que dû au fait que bien des régions, des nations, pays, des États, des régions géopolitiques, puis des civilisations n'ont pas été capables de résoudre leurs problèmes, leurs conflits qui dataient du 20e siècle, prédominant de la guerre froide, ces conflits-là vont reprendre. C'est ça qui arrive avec l'Ukraine puis la Russie. C'est des conflits qui datent du 20e siècle durant la guerre froide, de la guerre froide au Moyen-Orient, en Israël, Palestine, Israël, Hamas, Israël puis le monde arabe. Encore une fois, c'est des conflits qui datent du 20e siècle, surtout de la guerre froide. La Chine puis le Taïwan, c'est encore un conflit qui date du 20e siècle, qui n'ont pas été capables de le résoudre d'une manière pacifique. Il n'y a pas eu de résolution, là, tu sais. Fait qu'ici, je dis souvent, tu sais, ben, dans le collectif nord-américain, en Amérique du Nord, on a fait le grand compromis linguistique du français au Québec pour avoir la continuité, d'avoir la paix et de l'harmonie. Quand même 9 millions de Québécois, donc moi-même, je fais partie, tu sais, je vous considère comme étant famille. Puis les Canadiens aussi, tu sais. Puis les États-Unis aussi. Parce qu'on constitue un collectif émergent. On est des Nord-Américains. Je dis souvent, je suis Québécois, Canadien, Nord-Américain. Je soutiens pas Trump, mais je suis pour une fusion du Canada et des États-Unis parce que le roi est absent. Le roi est absent. Il ne va pas venir nous défendre dans le cas d'une invasion de la Chine ni de la Russie. Le roi, il ne viendra pas nous défendre. Ça, c'est sûr. Ça serait des gens comme moi, comme vous, comme d'autres gens qui habitent ici, qui vont défendre de côte à côte. Puis, il faut qu'on se concentre sur la défense, sur la sécurité de côte à côte. Puis c'est les ports. Puis les aéroports, les ports, puis les aéroports. Les ports, puis les aéroports, puis ça fait penser à une théorie que j'ai conçue. La théorie totale de la défense mobile, la théorie mobile de la défense totale. La théorie intégrée de la défense mobile totale. En anglais, c'est Total Mobile Defense Theory System. Fait qu'en français, ça peut varier un peu le titre, là, mais les anglais, mais fondamentalement, je ne peux pas discuter trop parce que c'est une théorie que c'est pour la sécurité nationale, puis la sécurité de l'Amérique du Nord, du collectif nord-américain, Canada et États-Unis conjointement. Il faut qu'on s'unisse le plus possible. Je ne suis pas contre Trump, mais j'aimerais ça qu'il signe un ordre exécutif pour le salaire minimum qui augmente, pour taxer les riches de 10%, pour rebâtir les ghettos aussi. Tu sais, en étant un centriste révolutionnaire, mon centrisme, il est fondamentalement basé sur des partenariats publics-privés. Puis bien sûr, je viens de discuter la TRD, puis là, il faut que je discute la TRD, je l'ai discuté. Puis là, il faut que je discute, bien sûr, la théorie de la refusion de la dette. La théorie de la refusion de la dette. Cette théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est super important que je la discute, fait que je vais la discuter maintenant. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est ma théorie financière qu'il faut faire l'implémentation aussitôt parce qu'on est en crise d'urgence. On est en situation d'urgence avec les finances publiques. Puis d'une grosse partie avec les finances privées aussi des citoyens. Moi-même, je vis une crise financière, je vis un stress financier, mais je suis toujours ouvert pour le travail, pour les affaires, pour l'emploi, quoi que ce soit. La danse est mon sport préféré, puis la danse est mon entraînement physique que je préfère, puis j'en fais bien du rock and roll, français puis anglais, puis en géopolitique. C'est ça ma trinité d'intérêt, puis je suis bon dans ces choses-là. Car dans d'autres choses sociales, les autismes hautement fonctionnels, les Aspergers, on n'est pas si bon. Tu sais, on n'est pas si bon dans les interactions sociales ou dans la compréhension des normes de la société ou dans des choses... on est moins capable dans certaines choses. Les autismes hautement fonctionnels, les Aspergers, on a de la misère dans certaines choses. Moi-même aussi, tu sais, j'ai eu l'emploi que j'ai aimé, mais ça n'a pas duré longtemps, puis ça n'a pas duré longtemps, tu sais. Ça a duré un couple de semaines, un couple de mois, un couple de contrats, puis j'ai bien eu de l'emploi que j'ai aimé durant la COVID, mais bon, ça a été que, à cause de l'Asperger, ça a été encore mal compris, c'est quoi, parce que Les gens ils pensent que c'est une maladie mentale, mais c'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est une condition de neurodivergence. C'est juste qu'on voit les choses. Notre cerveau est fait différemment, fait qu'on va voir certaines choses, puis certaines choses que les autres ne voient pas vraiment, tu sais, que ils ont de la misère dans certaines choses. Tu sais, c'est des choses qu'il faut que je vis avec, mais je vis avec, comme je vis avec mes cicatrices, puis ayant survécu la COVID, je fais la célébration aujourd'hui, mais le plus important, puis que je sois androgyne, pansexuel, faisant partie de la communauté LGBTQ, monsieur, madame, que ce soit, maintenant, oubliez ça. Concentrez-vous sur la théorie que je fais appel pour l'implémentation, qui est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. C'est ça le plus important en ce moment. Fait que là, on a payé l'intérêt seulement sur la dette publique en 2024, on a payé 46,5 milliards. 46,5 milliards, c'est 46 000 millions. OK? Tenez en compte ce chiffre-là. En 2020-2021, le montant était de 20,3 milliards. Fait que si vous faites le calcul, 20,3 fois 2, c'est 40,6. Fait que ça a été plus que double en 3 ans. C'est sûr qu'à cause de la... Oui, à cause de la COVID. À cause de la COVID, on a dû faire l'implémentation des programmes pour le soutien de la population dans le cas de la crise, dans le contexte de la crise de la COVID. OK? Oui. Mais ça a plus que doublé. Fait que parallèlement, de même manière, imaginez-vous dans une situation, un individu avec une carte de crédit, moi-même, j'ai pas de carte de crédit, j'ai une ligne de crédit à la Banque Royale du Canada, à la RBC, la Banque Royale du Canada. Là, avec le lion, là, le lion, là. J'ai 10 000 de dette, puis je fais à peu près 11 % d'intérêt. Fait que si un individu, l'intérêt qu'il paye, ça saute de 156 à 333. Si l'intérêt que quelqu'un paye, ça a plus que double, sans que le salaire double, puis si le salaire il augmente de 5 %, de 10 %, mais automatiquement, il faut qu'il coupe dans le budget, il faut qu'il fasse une réduction des dépenses. Parce que on ne peut pas soutenir ça. Fait que c'est exactement le même principe mathématique financier, dans les finances publiques. Parce que l'économie canadienne n'a pas doublé, là. Ça a juste augmenté de 2 %, 3 %, 5 %. Là. Des fois, c'est vraiment dans le négatif. Fait que pensez à ça. Fait que l'intérêt qu'on a payé, ça a doublé, là. Ça a plus que doublé en 3 ans à cause de la COVID. Fait que il faut qu'on coupe à quelque part. Qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? On va couper le service de police, le service de prison, le service de sanitation publique, ceux qui ramassent les poubelles, ramassent le recyclage, ramassent le compostage. C'est tous des services publics, ça. C'est tous des services publics. C'est des services publics, hein? Fait que, comme dans une situation, exactement en tant qu'individu, c'est des choses qu'il va falloir faire aussi. Qu'un individu, il faut qu'il coupe aussi. Si l'intérêt elle, ou que ce soit quel genre, ou autre genre, ou androgyne, quoi que ce soit, en tant que citoyen consommateur X, on va dire, si l'intérêt que citoyen X ou Y, ou Z, X, Y ou Z, le citoyenne, X, Y, Z, si l'intérêt qui paye, elle paye, ou eux autres payent, ça saute de 156 à 333. Ça veut dire que c'est plus que le double, parce que 333, c'est plus que le double de 156. Si ça double, sans que le salaire double, combien de salaires vous connaissez, vous savez qu'ils ont doublé en ces 5 dernières années, la hausse moyenne du salaire entre 2020 et 2025, ça a été de 4,4 %. La hausse, ça a été de 4,4 %. Le salaire il a augmenté de 4,4 %. 4,4 % le salaire. Il a augmenté de 4,4 % en 5 ans. 4,4 %. 4,4 %. 4,4 % en 5 ans. 4,4 % en 5 ans. C'était ça le salaire moyen qui a augmenté. Fait qu'imaginez-vous, il faut qu'on coupe l'individu, citoyenne, X, si l'intérêt qui paye, elle paye, citoyen, consommateur qui paye l'intérêt, si l'intérêt double, sans que le salaire double, évidemment, il faut couper dans le budget, il faut on réduit les dépenses. Il faut réduire les dépenses, réduire. Il va falloir couper quoi? L'électricité, il faut que ça soit payé, le loyer. Il va falloir couper peut-être un abonnement, une chaîne de télé, ou quelque chose que ça soit. Un abonnement, une chaîne de télé, un abonnement quelque part, ou quelque chose. Parce qu'on ne peut pas soutenir. C'est le principe mathématique. C'est sûr qu'il faut savoir les émotions, les sentiments, mais dans ce point de vue, c'est le calcul logique des mathématiques. C'est ça que ça existe. Puis c'est sûr qu'on a des sentiments, puis les émotions, mais c'est sûr qu'il faut faire l'implémentation de ma théorie de la refusion de la dette, parce que ça, c'est la solution, quelque chose qui ressemble à la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, qui est ma théorie financière. Ça vient que j'ai été maudit par l'Asperger's, que je la mets sur la table, mais quelque chose de similaire, semblable à ma théorie. Et la seule solution, il n'y en a pas d'autre. Vous pouvez vous obstiner tant que vous voudrez. Vous avez vu vous-même, vous pouvez voir avec Tiff McClure de la Banque du Canada, ces chiffres-là sont publics. Ces chiffres-là, l'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique sont publics. C'est pas un secret, ça. Je l'ai même publié en ligne. Bon, la TRD, dans ma théorie, est intégrée aussi la théorie d'intégration citoyenne. Dans ma TRD, dans la théorie de la refusion de la dette, est intégrée aussi la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Qu'est-ce qui est la théorie d'intégration monétaire? C'est la théorie que les Européens ont fait l'implémentation dans les années 90. Les Européens, ils ont détruit leur banque centrale nationale. Ils ont détruit leur banque centrale nationale. Les Allemands, les Italiens, les Français, bien des pays ont détruit leur banque centrale nationale. Ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Il y a une multinationale. La Banque centrale européenne, c'est plusieurs pays qui ont la même banque centrale. Ils n'ont plus de banque centrale, les pays comme on a au Canada, aux États-Unis, la Federal Reserve, la Réserve fédérale aux États-Unis, c'est une banque centrale. La Banque du Canada, c'est une banque centrale nationale. Les Européens n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Fait que dans ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient cette théorie. Ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, qui est la théorie que les Européens y ont fait l'implémentation. Les Européens y ont fait l'implémentation. Donc, je vous l'explique. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, incluant mon 10 000, de côte à côte, de côte à côte, de côte à côte. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, que ce soit quelle dette que vous avez, quelle heure, citoyens, tous les citoyens et citoyennes, toute la dette publique-privée du Canada de côte à côte. Puis il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation au Canada premièrement, mais de préférence, ma TRD qui inclut la théorie d'intégration monétaire, que ça soit fait simultanément le Canada et les États-Unis en même temps. Le Canada puis les États-Unis en même temps. Le Canada puis les États-Unis en même temps. Que ça soit fait ensemble, le Canada puis les États-Unis en même temps. Le Canada puis les États-Unis simultanément ensemble. Le Canada puis les États-Unis ensemble. Donc on va prendre tout cet argent-là, on va faire la refusion. Tout cet argent-là ensemble. Ensemble. Fait que ça va faire, bien sûr, bien de l'argent ensemble. Toute cette refusion, on va faire la conversion ensemble. Fait que ça va être dans les milliards. Fait que toute la dette publique privée du Canada, avec les États-Unis, ensemble, on va convertir la dette publique du Canada dans la dette publique du Canada ensemble. Toute cette dette-là, on va faire la conversion ensemble. Fait qu'on va en rajouter ensemble. Ensemble, on va faire la révision ensemble. On va faire la révision ensemble. Fait que tout cet argent-là, on va convertir dans la devise des États-Unis. On va faire l'addition avec les États-Unis, puis ça va fonder l'argent initial pour une nouvelle banque. Fait que toute la dette publique privée, ça va être l'argent initial en circulation avec l'argent qui existe pour une nouvelle banque centrale de l'Amérique du Nord. On va mettre en circulation une nouvelle monnaie qu'on va appeler l'UI. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. U point unité, E point change, U point universel. L'UI, l'unité d'échange universelle, qui va avoir la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. Avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir rebâtir l'infrastructure, l'Amérique du Nord bâtir plus de centrales, l'Hydro-Québec, financer les gens à faire l'entraînement physique, financer les gens au tourisme, parce que moi, j'ai sorti de ma dépression quand j'ai traversé le Canada en 2017. Puis j'ai établi un esprit de corps solide avec le Québec, le Canada, puis le collectif nord-américain. On va bâtir les 44 tunnels, bâtir 44 tunnels, construire 44 tunnels pour qu'on survive dans le cas d'une guerre nucléaire. Puis on va mettre en théorie, puis en principe, les deux institutions de partenariat public-privé, soit l'armée du dragon, l'armée de la défense pour la défense du collectif nord-américain, seulement pour la sécurité, pour le service pour la défense, seulement pour la sécurité, pour le service pour la défense, seulement pour la sécurité, pour le service pour la défense, parallèlement et complémentaire avec l'armée de la déesse qui danse. La Ligue de danse nord-américain intégrée, la Ligue de danse nord-américain intégrée, la Ligue de danse de l'Amérique du Nord, pour danser pour l'environnement, planter plus d'arbres, faire du nettoyage, pour le service, pour la joie aussi. Ça prend du plaisir aussi dans la vie, ça prend du plaisir. Moi, j'adore danser, c'est mon sport préféré. Vous savez, le dragon arc-en-ciel, la prêtresse Anne. Et voilà, la TRD, théorie de la révision de la dette, c'est urgent. C'est possible que lundi, le 24, on est le 21 aujourd'hui avant le sabbat à minuit qui commence jusqu'à dimanche, quasiment 45 heures, officiellement 44 heures et 55 minutes du sabbat qui commence à minuit. Fait que le sabbat, il commence dans un couple d'heures pour la récréation, méditation, puis bien l'amour, puis la danse, puis manger bien. Tu sais, c'est ça mon rêve, fondamentalement mon rêve. Le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse est fondamentalement un appel pour un partenariat public-privé, pour le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. Un PPP, on n'a pas besoin de la frontière, on a besoin de faire un recensement dans l'Amérique du Nord. Un grand recensement pour voir tous ceux qui habitent ici, mettons, aux États-Unis, au Canada, en Amérique du Nord, depuis 2017, ou mettons 2020. Parce que là, j'ai eu la COVID, puis je célèbre 5 ans déjà. Wow! 5 ans déjà, 5 ans! Wow! 5! What? Wow! Je me suis fait vacciner 3 fois, mais 3 vaccins, c'est assez pour moi, mais je garde le plus possible la sanitation publique, c'est me laver les mains, un peu que je touche, mettons, le clavier des banques, tu sais, quand tu vas à la banque, puis tu fais ton compte bancaire, tu touches le clavier, les chiffres, là, puis il y a bien du monde. Fait que ça prend l'individu puis le collectif, ça prend l'action individuelle, puis le collectif, c'est toujours une danse, ma sécurité, ma liberté, avec la tienne, la mienne, puis l'avancement dans ce 21e siècle, dans le point difficile, parce qu'on vit des temps difficiles. Moi, j'ai vécu, j'étais en dépression, j'étais suicidaire, j'ai des cicatrices, j'ai la perte de mémoire, wow, tu sais, mais je célèbre quand même aujourd'hui. Je vis avec espoir pour demain. J'ai l'espoir pour demain, là. Moi, le Collectif Americain, mais je vis comme on dit le latin carpe diem. Ça veut dire que je vis tous les jours le plus que je puisse. Puis là-dessus, je suis ouvert pour toutes les affaires, pour le travail, pour des amis avec bénéfice seulement, prêter allégeance les gens, vous êtes famille. Des amis avec bénéfice seulement, prêter allégeance, vous êtes famille. Des amis avec bénéfice seulement, prêter allégeance, vous êtes famille, mais je vis quand même une vie austère, souvent, mais j'aime ça, tu sais, les gaufres, puis le sucré, puis j'aimerais ça me permettre un massage thérapeutique, mais je suis quand même content que je vais pouvoir prendre un bain, parce que je fais beaucoup d'exercices physiques, quand je marche, là, dans ma marche, ça fait 4 heures que je suis dans la marche, déjà, là. Tu sais, fait que je vis quand même une vie très active, c'est l'entraînement physique, c'est super important. Bon, la TRD, puis les prêter allégeance, les gens, vous êtes famille, les amis avec bénéfice seulement, souvenez mon rêve, le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, qui est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé, fondamentalement. Tu sais, c'est dragon contre Trump. Je fais appel à Trump pour me combattre dans un combat de boxe depuis 2018, puis j'ai les gants rouges que mon ami anonyme m'a donné, puis que je vends pour 1 million pour lui donner la moitié, 50%, puis je veux construire les 4 bâtiments. Le temple de la déesse comme Dieu puis la déesse, le divin féminin, la déesse, le temple de la déesse oubliée, puis le colisée du peuple nord-américain, le colisée du peuple impérial nord-américain, le colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain, c'est la frontière Canada-états-unienne, puis la pyramide écarlate. Écarlate, c'est une rouge vif, là, rouge, ma couleur préférée, c'est rouge vif, écarlate. La pyramide, maison du dragon, la maison du dragon. Puis le palais du peuple arc-en-ciel pour la communauté LGBTQ, c'est des choses que je veux bâtir, construire avec l'aide des travailleurs en construction, puis tout le monde qui veut aider dans ce rêve, puis joindre dans ce rêve pour le 21e siècle. avec beaucoup de danse, beaucoup d'entraînement physique, ben des bisous, j'ai 718 milliards de bisous, 718 milliards de bisous, 718 milliards de bisous, fait que des bisous j'en ai plein, une chanson de rock'n'roll maintenant, à Montréal en plein hiver, en février ça danse, regarde les lumières qu'on a, pis, et ben de la neige pour en faire ben de la danse, que ça marque ben qui écrit, pas besoin de Becherel pour en faire ben du cœur, ben de l'amour. Je suis pas capable de voir qu'est-ce qui est écrit, mais ça marque. Le dragon, puis ça avance. D'ici dans les 17 régions, la métropole est rouge, puis ça danse, puis ça bouge. En arc-en-ciel, que ce soit noir et blanc. Et pas de feuilles, 1000 feuilles, que ça claque. Ben, ça danse. Danse. Ah ouais, il y a la fête. Fête, les pompes, les pieds dans les airs, les mains sans misère, les orteils, hey, 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 les orteils, danse pour que ça soit, danse pour que ça avance, puis ça soit, puis ça soit, puis que ça danse, ensemble, pour le faire bien en hiver, en danse, que ça soit, encore, ben ça pédale, les pistes cyclables, ben la neige, c'est mieux que ça patine, ben c'est mieux que ça patine, pour en faire, ben oui, baisine, pour en faire, ben oui, baisines, et regarde, ben que ça soit, ben sans misère, on va danser, ben en transe, hey, bienvenue dans la belle province. C'est le dragon en arc-en-ciel qui vous chante! C'est pas un poème, c'est du rock'n'roll ben bohème, c'est du rock'n'roll ben bohème. Mais qui boit ben le vin. Pas besoin que je me lève, c'est pas le matin, le minuit. Ben du rock'n'roll ben bohème. C'est pas des poèmes, ben du rock'n'roll, pas des poèmes. C'est pas de la poésie, c'est du rock'n'roll. Pas de poème, des poèmes. La poésie, du Québec. En transe, ben soyez sur la neige, ben ça avance. Équitable, ben requise, ben équitable, ben mise en garde. Et que ça soit, ben en faire pour la faire. Et regarde pour la danse, que ça soit ben en transe. Et enfin, ça danse. Jusqu'en haut des gratte-ciels. C'est l'affaire pour en faire, c'est l'affaire pour l'envoir. C'est l'X, Y à danse, mais le calcul, ben ça avance, ben ensemble, demain ça chatouille. Et moi c'est le dragon en arc-en-ciel, une chanson, ben la belle province. Claque des mains, des pieds, puis des doigts, puis du nez, claque des mains, puis des pieds, puis du nez, claque des mains, puis du pied, puis du nez. Oh yeah, ça c'est du rock'n'roll. On va rentrer dans un rock'n'roll bilingue. Une fois. Ready for that bilingual rock'n'roll. Let's get ready. Ready or not, here I come with a rock'n'roll till the dome. They're gonna go up and down. They're gonna hear this a new sound. This a new sound for the roller. For the soda. For those who are gonna say it, for those who are gonna play it, for those that don't gamble, gotta kiss it, gotta say it. Swing those hips and melody up into this. You know that's the flavor, this. Flavor lips and flavor kiss. I survived up in the COVID. That's the metro station rolling. That's the fitness that we holdin'. That's the fitness that you toldin'. Toldin'. Saying. That's a verb that's been the kiss. That's a verb up in the lips. I don't know, up in the lips and hips and this to this. That's the general booty shake. That's the rainbow booty. I got plenty. Got for generals only. Gotta kiss it for the doors. Gotta kiss it for the yo. So you know we going up and down, up in the road, the soda. Gotta kiss it so you know, gotta kiss it so you know. How many layers up in roll? How many layers up in dope? How many layers up in scold? For the flow and for the Noah, for the floor and for the dopes. Kitchen, that's some cooking, that's some more. Gonna kisses for the Noah. Got kisses for you, Noah. Got kisses for the snow. Let me hear some of that more. I got a concrete jungle up the snow and upon the door, the steel metal on the floor. Gotta give it so you know, gotta give it so you know. Et voilà pour la neige. Et on est dans la jungle, du ciment, mais ça danse. Ah oui, tap, 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 sa table. Sa table, la table ronde, c'est pas le roi Charles. C'est ni le roi Arthur. C'est le dragon quand le ciel bouge, j'ai les cheveux longs, monsieur, madame, Anne. Ouh, c'est pleine. Pleine comme un poisson, ça nage dans la danse. Dans la neige, ouf. Dans la neige, ouf. Dans la neige, ouf. Ah oui, québécoise. La bouche s'avance, bouge la bouche. La bouge de la bouche, mais c'est mieux que je danse de la gauche à droite par les fesses. En haut bien en bas, ça l'appelle twerk. Pour que j'aime. Regarde le rock'n'roll. Hey. C'est quelque chose que j'aime. Que chez nous, ça avance. Que chez nous, c'est place. Que chez nous, c'est d'envers. Que chez nous, c'est d'envers. Un verre, un poème bohème, un poème bohème, un poème rock'n'roll. Qu'il soit. Que ça soit, asseyez-vous, assois-toi sur la chaise, que ça soit, regarde, c'est du porcelaine, Hélène danse, la gauche, la droite, les mains, la bouche, ça avance, sa bouche, mais regarde, c'est louche, je sais pas, j'ai pas perdu l'espoir, C'est louche, on va pas le voir. Regarde, c'est la montagne. Là, on a descendu de la pente. Bien de lumière. Hey, c'est ma tante. On fait des grimaces. Elle dit non, ton rock'n'roll, là, je veux rien savoir. Ton rock'n'roll, là, je veux rien savoir. Ça gêne, c'est comme un poème. Mais ça danse, ça s'écrit tout à l'envers. Dans le verre, du vin, c'est clair. Le latin, ça. Ça atteindre, ça clique à atteindre dans l'Inde. Pop, cheveux puis de blé d'Inde. That's the rock and roll French style, you know. Rainbow style, man. French Quebec and North Americans unite, that DRT, you know. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, I don't want nothing about it. Keep my name out of your mouth, it's not for blessing. Let's go for the left, right set up in upsets. Coast to coast up in the yet, coast to coast up in the blessed. Blessed and kisses, that's the fray. Look at the mountain, that's the snow. Look at the mountain, that's the snow. You can go up and down, up in the road. You can go up and down, up in the road. You just want to see it, just want to kiss it, just want to be it. That's the lights, that's the freestyle rock and roll. You know it just how we go, know it just how we dope. Dope up in the rope, go up and higher. When it's higher. I'm in the road, that's the rope, that's the rope. Rock and roller. Somebody gotta sing that rock and roller. For everybody, for the farmers and the butchers and the truckers and the north, even for the boys and girls in blue. Ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you. Even for the boys and girls in blue. Ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you. Even for the boys and girls in blue. In blue. Ain't nobody perfect, that me and you. Give me some red. Give me some advance, that's what I said. Give me some kiss up in the dish. Give me some kiss up in the dish. Give me some kiss up in the lips. So you know we gotta flavor this. You know you gotta flavor this. You know we gotta flavor lips. You know we gotta flavor hips. Hey, up and down the snowy prey. Up and down the snowy lays. Lays like you skating on the ice, but there's no ice. And you just gotta get it. For the snow up and upset, it gotta sliding down, you see. I just slipped but didn't fall yet, see. Seizing harmony. Is that 10 seconds, that's you got it. 10 seconds, that's about it. 5 seconds, that's where it is. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, gotta split it, that's the mountain. I done made it just in time yet. Made it just in time yet. See it to believe it, that's enough for me to see it. That's enough for me to be it. Rainbow rock and roll, le dragon que je danse, que je rentre en trance, ici. Vous voyez, c'est la trance du rock and roll. Je peux chanter pendant des heures. Du rock and roll, c'est ça l'Asperger's, que les intérêts obsessifs, c'est des intérêts spéciaux. That's Asperger's, you know, special interest. Rock and roll, trance rock and roll for hours, just freestyling, you know, creating rock and roll. La création du rock and roll, here we go. There we go on that, so that's where we're gonna go do it, and that's where we're gonna go.